holycastsofreakingpod. 50 Shades Darker.
Chapters 8 through
14.
Okay, we did it. Hi, I'm Chuuurls.
I'm Cherry Doom.
I'm Chad.
You want a high five, Chad?
Yeah. 1, 2.
That was like the most laziest high five I've ever done in my life. I just like held out my hand and I was like, ah. So, it's been a while. Let's remember what happened last time. Christian has a bad dream. They get back together. Anna has a creepy boss. They went to a masquerade. His therapist says some inappropriate things. And then his ex-sub, Layla, Christian's ex-sub, Layla, starts showing up and kind of like haunting Anna. And then I guess they figure out that she's been in the house and it's like, oh my god! And it ends on that sort of like,
yes,
Hello, Anna. This is the ghost of Sub's past.
I guess they also have a couple stupid fights that are not worth getting into. An ice cream fucking, which is a disaster.
Fucking.
Oh man, what if there was some sort of Christian carol?
Christian carol?
Tonight you will be visited by 3 past subs. By the ghosts of 3 subs. The ghost of sub past, the ghost of sub present, and a ghost of sub future.
Isn't Anastasia the ghost of sub present?
She is.
But she's also the ghost of sub future or something.
Supposedly.
Supposedly.
Well, I don't know.
They break up. Maybe they break up after the books end.
Maybe someone dies.
Unless the books end with, and they never, ever, ever, ever broke up. The end. Nobody write any fan fiction where they break up.
I think that's probably what happens.
Signed, E.L. James.
Signed, E.L. James. Alright, well, with that out of the way, I suppose we should start talking about Chapter 8. I would like to read the first line of Chapter 8. Sawyer talks into his sleeve again. That's the first line. I guess he's doing it for fun. No, he's doing it because he's...
Wait a minute. Who puts... Do they put...
Yeah.
I guess so. Okay, that makes sense.
That
seems like a
dumb.
Strange place to... I mean, I guess that's the tried and true...
I thought it was like a headset of like, you just like press your ear.
It depends. Some people put it like in a cufflink or something.
Yeah, oh, that's interesting.
That makes sense. So I guess you don't broadcast everything you say.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he talks into his sleeve. Sawyer does. Sawyer's like Taylor Jr. So this Christian goes in the apartment. Yada yada.
Okay, so yeah, when last we left, there was a breach in the security manor. Sawyer has to babysit Anna in the elevator while Christian and his security snoop around in the elevator. There's a very, very short moment of tension when Anna wonders if Christian is okay, but it's fine. Layla's been in the apartment. Of course, Christian doesn't want to involve the police because the problem would be solved too fast. And I think she sees Layla standing at the foot of her bed when she wakes up. Right, so at some point, Christian puts Anna to bed, and then she, like, wakes up, she's all groggy, she's like, oh, someone's standing at the foot of the bed.
Yeah.
But then she gets up and is like...
I can read it if you want. Because
Sure,
I have it
yeah,
highlighted. I wake with a jolt, disorientated. Excuse me? Have I been asleep? Blinking in the dim glow, the hallway casts through the slightly open bedroom door. I notice that Christian is not with me. Where is he? I glance up. Standing at the end of the bed is a shadow. A woman, maybe? Dressed in black? It's difficult to tell. In my befuddled state, I reach across and switch on the bedside light, then turn back to look, but there's no one there. I shake my head. Did I imagine it? Dream it? My note here says, is Layla actually present? The answer is that time will tell.
It's not an answer.
Okay. What did it say about disoriented?
Disorientated.
Okay,
Disorientated. I wake with a jolt. Disorientated. See, okay, and in the book it's disoriented, but in my PDF it's disorientated. Disorientated.
Okay. Let's see. So Anna tells Christian that she thought she saw Layla at the foot of the bed. And then Christian's like, fuck, we have to do something. Everybody get on the security, all hands on deck.
Get dressed now! Also in this passage, he pulls open one of the drawers in his chest of drawers. He pulls open one of the drawers in his chest of drawers and fishes out a pair of sweatpants. He swipes a t-shirt too and quickly pulls it over his head. Grabbing the bedside phone, he presses 2 buttons. My note here says, Christian is a bear. Fishing and swiping are 2 well-known bear activities. So there you go.
They're gonna leave. They're going to a hotel. She's like, we gotta get out of here. Anna says, aren't we all overreacting slightly, I ask? Christian glowers at me. She may have a gun, he growls. Christian, she was standing at the end of the bed. She could have shot me if that's what she wanted to do. Which is, great fucking reassurance.
Taylor, Anastasia needs shoes. It's kind of a weird thing to say. Taylor knows and understands guns, he says with distaste. He'll be quicker with a gun than she is. Ray was in the army, he's taught me how to shoot. Christian raises his eyebrows and for a moment looks utterly bemused. You, with a gun, he says incredulously. Yes, I am affronted. I can shoot Mr. Gray, so you better beware.
I can shoot Mr. Gray.
This is I don't know if we talked about this in the last episode, but that's kind of an inconsistency with earlier when everybody was like, oh, a gun!
Well, I mean, Christian is like, a gun.
Yeah.
Anna's like, guns are great, America, everybody has a gun.
I wonder if Christian
Everybody loves guns. She doesn't give a fuck about a gun.
I see. Yeah. I don't know, but there is some inconsistency. Like, I kind of think it is an editing problem, but we did kind of say, I think the idea that Layla has a gun needed to be dramatic earlier, and it still does, but
Probably.
But at the same time, I don't know why they put this in. Why isn't everybody afraid of guns? Taylor reaches into his jacket, pulls out his wallet, and hands Christian a credit card. You might want to use this when you get there. So, is it Taylor's credit card? We tend to think yes, because later it says, like, Mr. and Mrs. Taylor is their little, alias. Did he just print it off from his torso? Maybe his robot ability is a printer in his torso. And that's actually why Christian is rich and financially infallible, even though he's like 27.
Wait a minute. Who gives who the credit
Taylor
card?
gives Christian the credit card.
Okay, I thought maybe he was just like the keeper of the card. Like Taylor
card.
kept all his money and bought all his things for him or something.
That's funny.
Taylor is Christian's legal guardian.
They introduce themselves as like Taylors so that it matches up with the credit card name. There you go.
Okay, alright, well that's a good thought of Taylor, I guess, to think of that even. Though I don't know how Layla would find out that through hotel records that they were staying there. Unless it was for purposes of just paparazzi, I don't know.
Might have.
Anyway, so they spend the night at the hotel. I think they have sex, probably. And then there's a pregnancy scare. Oh
Indeed.
no. We're in the bedroom, and Dr. Reed is staring at me open-mouthed. She's dressed more casually than last time. Pale pink cashmere twin set and black pants, and her fine blonde hair is loose. And you just stopped taking it? Just like that? I flush, feeling beyond foolish. Yes? Could my voice be any smaller? You could be pregnant, she says matter-of-factly. What? The world falls away at my feet. My subconscious collapses on the floor, retching.
You mean...
I think I would be sick too.
You mean if I stop taking my birth control and then have unprotected sex, I could get pregnant?
Here, go pee in this. She's all business today. Taking no prisoners, except the pee prisoner.
Prisoner.
So yeah, she's not pregnant, it's fine.
Prisoner of piss. I thought that could my voice be any smaller was a really funny passage.
And finally, Christian admits he loves Anna. Well, sort of. Okay.
It was like one of those things where she's like, "Do you love me?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Stop. He puts his finger over my lips and shakes his head. An agonized expression on his face. I can't hear this. I'm nothing, Anastasia. I'm a husk of a man. I don't have a heart. Holy shit. Yes, you do. And I want it. All of it. You're a good man, Christian. A really good man. Don't ever doubt that. Look at what you've done. What you've achieved, I sob. Look what you've done for me. What you've turned your back on. For me, I whisper. I know how you feel about me. He gazes down at me, his eyes wide and panicked, and all we can hear is the steady stream of water as it flows over us in the shower. You love me, I whisper. His eyes widen further and his mouth opens. He takes a huge breath as if winded. He looks tortured. Vulnerable. Yes, he whispers.
So drama! It's not
Hooray,
even the
he finally
maximum
admitted
of
it.
drama we'll encounter.
And that's the end of chapter 9.
No, it's the end of chapter 8.
You're right.
She can't contain her jubilation. That's the first line of chapter 9.
She cannot contain her
I don't-
jubilation. Her subconscious gapes at me in stunned silence, and I wear a face-splitting grin as I gaze longingly up into Christian's tortured eyes.
This beautiful, fucked up man, whom I once thought of as my romantic hero. Strong, solitary, mysterious, possesses all these traits, but he's also fragile and alienated and full of self-loathing. My heart swells with joy, but also pain for his suffering. And I know in this moment that my heart is big enough for the both of us. Like, what is... I really don't agree with this. Like, I hate that.
She can love for both of them.
She can love for both of them.
He doesn't have a heart.
Hey, like, this guy is so hot, but he's also a piece of shit, and I just love that. Okay, I didn't have many notes for Chapter 9. I just had nothing to really add to this.
I don't even remember what happens in this chapter.
Okay, well, what happens is, Layla poured paint on Anna's car in the last chapter, so they have to go get a new car, of course.
Wait, what?
Well, the car's been ruined, there's paint on it.
Oh.
Obviously.
I get it. I didn't realize that's how cars worked. So, like, are all cars automatically ruined when they exit the factory?
Let's see, my subconscious is cringing in disgust, mortified by this whole buying a car business. But my inner goddess tackles her to the floor. Convertible drool! That might be my favorite line.
It's pretty funny.
I mean, do people even really like convertibles this much? I mean, I know it's
I like them, actually.
It's a thing, but like...
I feel like they're definitely not a thing anymore.
I sort of don't... Like, my dad is obsessed with BMWs, and he had, at any point in my life, a convertible sometime. But if you sit in the back seat and you're a child, the wind is just right, so it blows all your hair in your face, or just, like, wind in your face, and I always hated it. And, like, the leather seats were cold, and it was like, oh. What I'm specifically remembering is his M3, his BMW M3. It was like aubergine, or, like, eggplant color, and the inside was, like, orange leather, like... Memories. But, yeah, I don't know. I like the way that convertibles look, but I don't like their functionality.
They're very impractical.
I do not like the way they look at all.
Sorry, their lack of functionality I don't like, yeah.
Can't remember what kind of car she ends up getting. So he gets all... Oh, yeah. He gets all his subs the exact same car.
An Audi A3.
An Audi A3.
Yeah.
And then instead they go to get a sob. I resign myself to my fate. A sob? Do I want a sob?
I quite liked the Audi Submissive Special. It was very nifty. It's very adult!
So they go to the waterfront. They eat lunch at a crab shack, probably. I don't know. And they go to Christian's boat. And the boat is named Grace, after his mom. And Christian says, I adore my mom, Anastasia. Why wouldn't I name a boat after her?
Of course, I want to drive my mom in the water.
Weird. Jeez, Mom, you're as big as a boat. So there's a captain on the boat, who's
Captain Mac
drives the boat. Captain Mac. So they go out on the water and they send the captain out to an island so that they can fuck on the boat, which is kind of weird. Like, what's he doing out on the island? He's just like, I wonder if they're done fucking yet.
Living his life as a boatman. Getting drunk as fuck.
What kind of a boat is it?
It's a yacht. I guess. It's a... Holy cow, it must be at least 40, maybe 50 feet. 2 sleek white hulls, a deck, a roomy cabin, and towering overhead an impressive mast.
2 sleek white hulls, just like my mom.
Oh, no.
God. Oh, but before this, so...
I know nothing about boats, but I can tell this one is special.
Just like my mom. Asymmetrical dagger boards, just like my mom. I'm sorry. So at this crab shack, by the way, there's something I really don't like in here. Please call me Anna. I'll have whatever Christian's drinking. I smile shyly at Dante. 50's so much better at wine than I am. I really don't like acquiescing in this way. If you're a woman in a couple, like, you're just like, oh, like, just let the man do that. That's man thing.
I don't know. I mean, if he knows wine better than she does.
Yeah, but like, could you try? Could you try? I don't know.
Well, maybe she doesn't know. She just drinks cheap red wine. She just drinks.
She like Chuck Shaw.
They've been
friends.
$4 Chuck.
They've been dating for what, like a couple days now?
An hour? No, it's been like a week.
A couple days.
Yeah.
Well, I can bet you that wine is crisp and delicious.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And fruity.
She's like, my girlfriend, and her inner goddess performs the quick arabesque. That's got to be some kind of ballet move. Because, okay, but an arabesque is also like a curly cue that you draw, too. So I was confused by that.
It's also the name of a...
music thing by Debussy.
By Debussy.
Okay, here's a weird thing. She's ready to rock and roll, sir, Mac beams. Oh, the boat, the Grace, silly me.
How's she shaping up, Mac? Christian interjects quickly.
I'm gonna start that. Restart that, yeah.
How's she shaping up, Mac? Christian interjects quickly, and for a moment I think he's talking about me.
She's ready to rock and
Mac.
roll, sir, Mac beams. Oh, the boat, the Grace.
Oh.
Silly me. Let's get underway then. You're going to take her out? Yep. Christian flashes Mac a wicked grin. Why is the grin wicked?
Maybe this
Why is he learning? Is he like, yeah, that's right, Mac, I'm gonna fuck my girlfriend
Yeah,
out
I
in
think
the
that
boat.
is what he's like. And I think that this was all like a double entendre conversation.
Yeah, she's ready
Yeah.
to rock and roll.
Man,
That's fucked up.
Christian, I would think that Christian, with like how jealous he is, he would absolutely hate Mac having any sort of double entendre.
It's more like
that
Mac
might
is affirming the fact that
Maybe
he,
Mac's a robot,
Christian,
too.
Mac is affirming the fact that he, Christian, is going to fuck his girlfriend, and that's affirming and not jealousy
Maybe.
inducing.
Are we ready to go yet, Mac? Yes, the fuck boat is all ready, sir.
The fuckboat has been prepared.
They go out onto the ocean. Then they fuck on the boat. The feel of him in me, stretching, filling me. I moan softly. It's divine. That's right, baby. Give it up for me. Please.
Yeah.
Anna. He murmurs. And I imagine that he's like expecting Anna to applaud.
Give it up for me.
Give it up for me, Anna, please.
I wanna...
Yeah.
maybe... if one of us is ever at a convention where we can talk to John St. John, the voice of Duke Nukem, we should try to convince him to read some of Christian's lines where he says, baby. That's right.
Well, what
Give it up
about...
for me.
That'd be
We
awesome.
should ask if any of our listeners happen to have a good Duke Nukem voice.
Yeah, that'd be
And
good.
have them send in some stuff to us.
Shake it in.
Chapter 10, unless you have
No.
more.
Well, no.
Okay.
I just didn't find this...
9 is a super uneventful chapter.
Apparently I read chapter 9 and I was just like, fuck this chapter.
They buy a car and go on a boat. Many things happen.
Yeah, but not anything interesting.
I also didn't think that
Nope.
chapter 10 was interesting. I just completely...
So they leave the boat and go home. Lord, his eyes are an amazing color, especially here out on the sea, reflecting the light bouncing off the water through the small portholes in the cabin.
Just
That
like
seems
my
a little bit
mom.
unlikely. Like, the portholes are like
They're
tiny,
pretty small.
right?
I mean, you can get like a little beam of light.
I mean, maybe he's like positioned just perfectly, and maybe he like set it up before and he was like, oh, gotta get in the light
I
so
mean,
she can see my
My
cool eyes.
aesthetics.
If it's
Yeah,
a yacht, they could be pretty
Right.
big. Like,
it's true.
They argue about safety and whether Anna should be able to go to work. Of course, they do this for ages and ages and ages. They flirt over a game of billiards. Cool.
So romantic.
It's like Anna's like about to win, maybe, and then Christian starts to fuck her, basically.
Wait, can I read one
And so
thing?
she loses. Yes, you may.
The elevator. Okay, they go in an elevator. The elevator pings to a halt. The elevator pings to a halt. The doors slide open, and Christian drags his face from mine. That's already a bad passage. His hips still pinning me to the wall. His erection digging into me like a. I'm gonna steam shovel my dick right into your body. There's a lot of description of Anastasia talking to him as though he's a child. I say it slowly, as if he's a child. She's done this a couple times now. Like, that's really... I know that this book is usually about him disrespecting her, but she also does it. I don't know. Do we think it's warranted because he's a piece of shit? Maybe.
What is he saying to her? She's saying to him.
I have a new job, which I enjoy, she says. Of course I have to go to work. What does he mean? No, you don't, he repeats emphatically. Do you think I'm going to stay here twiddling my thumbs while you're off being master of the universe? Frankly, yes. Oh, 50, give me strength. Christian, I need to go to work. No, you don't. Yes, I do. I say it slowly as if he's a child.
I think it is totally warranted because he's being a fucking
Yeah,
baby.
he's often a fucking baby, but like, I don't know, like, if you're repeatedly speaking to your lover as though they're a child, maybe you shouldn't be dating.
Well, he's a shitty
Yeah,
fucking
he is
lover.
that. She seems to be alright with it, though. I just turned to a random page, 236. So, you do have an Xbox? I smirk. X-bone, loser. Anyway, no, just kidding. I think Xbox is alright.
do we think Christian owns all the consoles?
Yes.
Does he have a particular side in the console wars?
Didn't we say his playroom? Remember the book one? When we were talking about his playroom, we just assumed it was full of consoles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, Christian seems like the type that would like get on to like Reddit and be like,
I mean, he said
Yeah.
no Xbox, no PlayStation. He didn't say no Wii. He might be a
But he-
Nintendo fanboy.
Maybe he meant no
but
Xbox
he does have an
360.
Xbox.
No, that's actually... I don't actually think that's him who has the Xbox. What did I say? What page it was?
No, he
36.
does have an Xbox.
Yeah, he does have an Xbox.
But he's crap at it. Elliot always beats him. That was funny when you thought I meant this room was my playroom.
Oh, here we go. Downstairs is a room that catches my eyes opposite his study. A TV room with a 2 large plasma screen and assorted game consoles.
Oh yeah, this is him finally giving her a tour, I think, after, like, being in this house a whole bunch. Anastasia. She finally gets to see the whole apartment. Jesus. So, right, so as the chapter shows, she shows him her the billiards room, and they start playing pool. There's a lot of bending over, and then he comes up and froths against her butt. And then the chapter ends, top right, he murmurs, pointing to the black, and bends to take the shot. Chapter 11. With an easy grace, Christian chaps the white ball so that it glides across the table, kisses the black, and oh, so slowly the black rolls, teeters on the edge, and finally drops into the top right pocket of the billiards table.
Is this a complex analogy for interracial love? I'm sorry. Maybe. And then so then he gets to punish Anna because she's not good enough at pool, and they fuck against the pool table. So then let's see, they have sex, they hang out in the bathtub, a bunch of shit happens, lots more. So Anna goes to work, and she receives the following email from Christian. Good morning, Miss Steele. I just wanted to say thank you for the wonderful weekend in spite of all the drama. I hope you never leave. Ever. I just wanted to remind you that the news of SIP is embargoed for 4 weeks. Delete this email as soon as you read it. Yours, Christian Grey. That would fucking help.
Yeah, like, why did you send her this on the work email if this is, like, email that's sensitive? Why not send it to her on the BlackBerry like he's always yelling at her about doing?
They see everything. It doesn't matter if you delete it. Like, they know. Yep. They know.
Well, except Christian has bought the company, so he has total control over all the servers.
Yeah,
somehow.
I suppose he could go to the IT guy and be like, hey, forget about it.
So Jack wants to take Anna to a New York writing symposium thing, and Christian will not allow it at all because he's jealous. I get that Jack is a bad man.
Well, Jack is a psycho, and so this is supposed to be like rationale for Christian being right.
Right, but I get that he's a bad man, but Anna wants to go to further her career, and Christian's like, if you want to go, I'll take you, but it's not the same. Anna wants to go to the symposium. She doesn't want to go to New York to, like, hang out with Christian. She wants to go to the writing symposium.
No! I shout at my computer, causing the entire office to come to a standstill and stare at me. Jack peers out from his office. Everything all right, Anna? Yes, sorry, I mutter. I just didn't save a document. I'm scarlet with embarrassment. He smiles at me, but with a puzzled expression. I take several deep breaths and quickly type a response. I'm so mad, and this is the email I really want to read. It's so good. I wonder if I should make Chad read it.
Christian, you need to get a grip. I am not going to sleep with Jack. Not for all the tea in China. I love you. That's what happens when people love each other. They trust each other. I don't think you are going to sleep with, spank, fuck, or whip anyone else. I have faith and trust in you. Please extend the same courtesy to me, Anna.
By the way, she does. I like this one touch where she signs her name Anna, but
and it also signs.
But she has an auto sign. Yeah. Oh god.
I'm sure that happens all the time.
Yeah, it does.
Let's see. So at least Anna chews him out for doing this. Then Elena emails Anastasia and says, Dear Anastasia, I would really like to have lunch with you. I think we got off on the wrong foot, and I'd like to make that right. Are you free sometime this week? Elena Lincoln. This is what I was talking about, where like so many things happen at once when Anna's at work, and she like can't even get a fucking moment to process them, and then she goes home and like spends just hours just alone with Christian, fucking and laying around and eating risotto. It's just so strange. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be like some sort of juxtaposition of like the hectic work life, the real world and Christian world or something. Mm-hmm. But it's just so ridiculous.
Okay, and then Christian stops every person from being able to travel unless it's approved by senior management.
Yeah, he like basically enacts a new policy. That's fucking creepy.
It's beyond creepy.
He like goes way, 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 way over Anna's head to like, you know, I trust you. I trust you. It's Jack I don't trust. And then he like goes above Anna's head and everybody's head to like stop her from going to New York.
These are fucking scary. Okay, I checked to see if I still have his emails, and they have disappeared. This man's influence knows no bounds. How does he do this? Who does he know that can stealthily delve into the depths of SIP's servers and remove emails? I'm so out of my league here.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Christian is just doing illegal things here.
Yeah, he is. Anna, I've seen how, quote-unquote effective you are at fighting off unwanted attention.
God.
I remember that's how I had the pleasure of spending my first night with you. At least the photographer has feelings for you. The sleazeball, on the other hand, does not. He is a serial philanderer, and he will try to seduce you. Ask him what happened to his previous PA and the one before that. I don't want to fight about this. Okay, well, I hate to say it, but Christian is right. I have the knowledge, but it doesn't... I mean, that's like a really awful way to talk to somebody, like, victim blaming. Yeah. I think we've all, are women anyway, I don't know about Chad, we've all experienced that once in our life. Like, maybe you just shouldn't have lost your wallet, fucklord, like that kind of thing. I don't know.
My next note is Christian peeps, Jack creeps. Basically, Anna goes out, even though she's been told expressly not to leave the office ever because Layla's out there. Oh my god, there's just so many threats to Anna's safety. How awful. It's never ending. So Jack sends her out to get him lunch, and it was like, it'll only take 15 minutes. And then, so she comes back, and Christian calls her immediately, like, you said you wouldn't go out, because he's got spies tracking her all the time. He knows where she is all the time. Yep. God, and then Anna rightly says, Christian, please, you're being so suffocating. But first she says, Christian, please, you're being so 50, she thinks, but not says aloud. So suffocating.
Suffocating, he whispers, surprised.
Yes, you have to stop this. I'll talk to you this evening. Unfortunately, I have to work late because I can't go to New York.
Anastasia, I don't want to suffocate you, says quietly appalled, because he's not into breath play.
Yes. So, finally, Anna gets to go home after a late day at the office, and, but first, of course, Jack creeps upon her. He, like, sits on her desk and is like, Anna.
You're being very coy, Anna.
And then finally she's like, my boyfriend's Christian Grey, so...
My boyfriend's Christian Grey!
And so she gets to escape.
See, this is fucked up, though. You see, Christian, even your name protects me. You didn't have to go to all that trouble of clamping down on expenses. Why can't her insistence that he not do that be enough? That really bugs me.
Yeah.
It's a real-life issue that happens, too. Anyway.
So... She gets in the car, and Christian, raises my hand and lightly grazes my knuckles with butterfly kisses. Aren't butterfly kisses...
Butterfly kisses! Aren't they with your eyelashes?
Yeah, exactly. So I thought, I was just like, imagining him, like, turning his head to the side and, like, blinking really fast on her knuckles.
I'm, like, trying to do it. Oh god, you shouldn't do that against your knuckles. You're gonna punch yourself in the face. In the eye. In the eyeball.
They finally fuck in the elevator.
Here we go. Here's your line that you like, Chad. Read it.
Oh, sweet Jesus, you're wearing stockings.
Can you say it in the nerdy voice?
Sweet Jesus, you're wearing stockings.
Sweet Jesus, you're wearing stockings.
I want to hellish, he breathes. And he pulls my skirt right up, exposing the tops of my thighs. Look, how is he not actually a secret anime goon? Loser. Or not loser, sorry.
I mean, I don't know.
That kind yoiki is so powerful.
What do they call that zone? Like
that kind yoiki. That's what I just said. I said,
I think plenty of Western men also find stockings attractive.
Chad, the expert, would you say it's a slightly different phenomenon? Like, based on, like, what is cool and what is not?
Oh, yeah, it's different. Like, I think just stockings themselves are considered, like, a sexy thing in the West. Whereas, like, in Japan in particular, the zettai ryoiki thing is the exposed flesh above the stocking, and there's, like, a specific formula and, like, categorization for, like, how much or how little is just right.
Yeah, like what it correlates
for
to.
exposing.
Like what you like. Yeah, I don't know.
And, like, what kind of a girl the person is, like, depending on how much they expose. Japanese otaku are fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, so, but that's it.
Also, fun fact, the zettai and zettai ryoiki, which means absolute, comes from the zettai in absolute terror field, AT field from Evangelion.
From Evangelion.
Yeah.
Oh.
What's it called in Japanese?
It's like zettai terror field or something like that.
No. It's called something. It's not English word terror field. Anyways, let's continue. But before we go on, I think the stockings thing, like here in America, when we think of like sexy stockings, we're probably thinking like the garter belt type, like ooh, wow, or like lace top. I think that's more classic. And then whereas like the Japanese is like just like the schoolgirl stocking type thing, and then also opaque, and then also like Chad said, zettai. Ryoiki. What did you say it was?
Zettai Ryoiki.
Oh, I was right. Wow, I
Yeah.
remembered. Right.
Which is specifically the space between the skirt
Right,
and
the
the top of
space
the
between the
stocking.
skirt and the top. Anyway, the skin that's exposed. So it is a little bit different, but the same principle that everybody's a pervert. Thank you.
At the end of the chapter, they fuck in the elevator, and then suddenly Mrs. Lincoln is on her way up. She's coming into the apartment. Mrs. Robinson is here.
Mrs. Lincoln is on her way up. Christian, she says, Abe's been shot.
Are we ready to move on to chapter 12?
We are. Apparently, we learn the most about Elena in the next couple chapters, Mrs. Lincoln.
Okay, so basically Mrs. Robinson appears, and she's coming because Christian, she says to Christian that she's being blackmailed. Spoiler alert, this turns out to be a really silly red herring.
Yeah, it is.
Mrs. Robinson's current sub is doing it for some kind of weird game. There's also a tiny mention of the quote-unquote community. Like Christian says, is someone in the community doing it? And I wasn't sure if he was talking about, like, the BDSM community, which seems to be the only mention of it in the series of books at all, which is just interesting because BDSM has a pretty, like, big and also sort of involved community. Of course, there are people who are not in the BDSM community that also practice BDSM, but you know, the community aspect is pretty big. So I'm not sure if that's what he's talking about, or if he's just saying like in the neighborhood or something. They're only asking for $5,000. Any idea who it might be? Someone in the community? No, she says in her soft, sweet voice. I'm assuming it's someone in the community. I mean, I'm assuming they're talking about BDSM.
Yeah,
community.
like blackmail BDSM. Sorry,
Well,
sorry, that's not what I mean. Like blackmail over BDSM.
But that would be silly because if they're in the BDSM community, that would be dumb.
Maybe they have like aliases when they go and practice in clubs. Like that's what I would think of Christian anyway, because he's so high profile.
Yeah, he probably does. I don't think he goes to clubs. Maybe he does.
Maybe.
I don't know. Who knows how he found all these subs? Anyway, let's
Subs
see.
in clubs.
So
Subs in clubs. Hop on pop. I have something to read. Geez, what's wrong with her? Because she's like, because Mrs. Lincoln is all like weird, and she's glancing nervously and maniacally, twisting the large silver ring around and around on her middle finger. Geez, what's wrong with her? Is it my presence? Do I have that effect on her? Because I feel the same way. I don't want her here. She raises her head and looks Christian's... Okay, I'm being blackmailed. Holy shit! Not what I expected out of her mouth. Christian stiffens. Has someone found out about her penchant for beating and fucking underage boys? I suppress my revulsion. And a fleeting thought about chickens coming home to roost crosses my mind. My subconscious rubs her hands together with ill-disguised glee. Good. Like, on one hand, okay. On the other hand, like, that's a little creepy, Anastasia.
I mean, I can sort of understand, I guess, but she, as far as we know, she only spanked and fucked the one underage boy.
As far as we know.
As far as we know. As far as Anna knows.
Isaac is implied to be younger than her, but not much, yeah.
She's just a cougar.
Coog.
I know, but yes, but what she did was wrong. So Anna eavesdrops. Anna leaves because she's like, I think I'm going to bed. Good night. And then she stays. And listens. And it's not interesting. It's basically just about how Elena wants Christian to be happy, and he's like, I love her, and who cares?
Well, I have a reading. It's in the past, Elena, and why would I want to taint her with our fucked up relationship? She's good and sweet and innocent, and by some miracle, she loves me. It's no miracle, Christian. Elena scoffs good-naturedly. How can you do that? Have a little faith in yourself. You really are quite a catch. I've told you often enough. And she seems lovely too. Strong. Someone to stand up to you. I think she could not have the situation pegged more badly.
She stands up sometimes, but he always wins anyway.
Okay, so after that conversation, I have something more to read. Christian gets like really defensive after Elena leaves and Anna comes back. She says, will you tell me all about her? I'm trying to understand why you think she helps you. I loathe her, Christian. I think she did you untold damage. You have no friends. Did she keep them away from you? He sighs and runs his hand through his hair. Why the fuck do you want to know about her? We had a very long-standing affair. She beat the shit out of me often, and I fucked her in all sorts of ways you can't even imagine. End of story. And like he just said, I don't want to taint her with our relationship.
Well, but Anna keeps standing up to her and to him and being
Speaking of which,
tell me.
I pale. Shit, he's angry with me. I blink at him. Why are you so angry? Because all that shit is over! In caps, he shouts, glowering at me. I mean, like, this is so funny. Like, he swears so much in, like, these next couple I mean, he did before, like, holy shit, you're wearing stockings. Like, there's a lot more of the word shit, and I think that's why I highlighted that passage. But also, like, wow, what a fucking temper tantrum. Anyway. Okay, my next note is... Oh, so she's, like, discussing this with him. Do you expect me to like her? No, though it would make my life a hell of a lot easier, he says wearily. I do understand your reticence? Is that how you say that?
Mm.
Reticence? Jeez, Christian. If that were your son, how would you feel? Oh, sorry, God, I burped. He blinks at me as though he doesn't comprehend the question. He frowns. I didn't have to stay with her. It was my choice too, Anastasia! And, like, okay, that's some tiny foreshadowing, perhaps. Whoa, Sob, can I drive it tomorrow? No. You know why not. And that reminds me, if you are going to leave your office, let me know. Sawyer was there watching you. So earlier when she's like, I feel like I'm being watched, she was. Mm-hmm. It seems I can't trust you to look after yourself at all. Seems I can't trust you either, I mutter. You could have told me Sawyer was watching me. Can we ever have a normal conversation without it disintegrating into an argument? It's exhausting. We just don't know each other that well. Do I really want to move in with him? I don't even know if I should make him a cup of tea or coffee while he's working. Should I disturb him at all? I have no idea of his likes and dislikes. Like, maybe? Perhaps?
I really hate this fucking book.
Do you have any notes in between the mention of Rebecca and that thing I just said?
Who's Rebecca?
Rebecca's a book that I would like to talk about a little bit.
Oh, okay. She calls Ray, and it's a really short conversation, and it's dumb. There's no point.
Yeah, there's no point. It's just like, she calls Ray, and he's like, is there anything wrong? And she's like, no.
And then so it's just to, I guess, remind us that she has parents. I don't know.
I have parents.
Alright, go ahead.
Okay, so she's in the library, she like swats herself with a ruler, and she's like, it stinks. Most of the books are first editions, blah, blah, blah. I settle on Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I haven't read this for a long time. I smile as I curl up in one of the overstuffed armchairs and read the first line. Last night I dreamt I went to Manderley again. I think that Rebecca is actually a pretty good book. When I was initially reading it, I thought it was going to be like an awful romance novel, but it was actually like a murder mystery. Why would you smile as you curl up and read it for the... Like, cause, okay, when she's saying last night I dreamed I went to Manderley again, spoiler alert, Manderley is burned down by a fucking crazy man.
Maybe she actually, just no, a crazy woman. The book.
It is a good book, but I wouldn't smile about it. It's like, it's not lighthearted, like, the plot
it's just the familiarity. I mean, you can smile about a good thing.
I would not. I mean, it's sad. She's dreaming of something that's fucking gone.
I think she's just happy to read the book again. The book that she likes is
comforting to her, yeah.
I love it. I love suffering. Anyways.
I mean, I think she's smiling about the book as a whole.
But just also to reinforce that she is dropping more book names other than, what the fuck was it? Tess of the D'Urbervilles.
Is this English? Is it British lit?
Yes, it is.
Okay, they fuck on the piano. This is my revenge, Anna, he growls softly. Argue with me, and I'm going to take it out on your body somehow.
Oh my god!
Which is super
That's
fucked up.
Fucked up as hell. Here, I have some other selections. I moan in response and caress his dear, dear face. Suddenly he rises, startling me, and he lifts me bodily onto the piano. My feet rest on the keys, sounding discordant. In his hands skim up my legs and part my knees. He grabs my hands. Lie back, he orders, holding my hands while I sink back on top of the piano. The lid is hard and uncompromising against my back. He lets go and pushes my legs open wider, my feet dancing over the keys, over the lower and higher notes. So like, bing bong, bing bong, and pianostasia is my note here. And then here's the thing I wanted you to read, Charity, and also talk about. Here's my impression of you reading this. He kisses me. There. Oh boy.
Right. He kisses me. There. Oh boy. That the way I say oh boy is actually I'm imitating another podcaster. It's the comedian Jason Mantzoukas on the podcast How Did This Get Made? And he often says, oh boy in that manner.
Oh,
And
okay.
now I'm exposed.
I
as
thought
a
it was
fraud.
you. I thought it was a Cherry Doom original. That's alright,
Nope.
though. Okay, anyway. Do you drink tea or coffee in the evening? Blah, blah. I'm rudely awakened from my disturbing dream of over-blonde and dark-haired women. And over-blonde? Over-blonde? How much
'Cause
blonde is too much
She's
blonde?
too blonde.
Too blonde.
Mrs. Robinson's too blonde.
I would like Chad to do a reading. The question posed to Christian was, do you have any happy memories of your childhood? Read that, Chad.
I recall the crack whore baking. I remember the smell. A birthday cake, I think. For me. And then there's Mia's arrival with my mom and dad. My mom was worried about my reaction, but I adored baby Mia immediately. My first word was, Mia. I remember my first piano lessons. I can't read that.
Miss Kathy, my tutor, was awesome.
Miss Kathy, my tutor, was awesome. She kept horses, too. He smiles wistfully.
You said your mom saved you. How? His reverie is broken, and he gazes at me as if I don't understand the elementary math of 2 + 2, and my note says maybe she doesn't. Like, that wouldn't be a crazy thing to wonder about, because she does sometimes seem to have some lapses in...
I do really like the line, I recall the crack whore baking.
I recall the crack whore baking. I think it's an awful line. Yeah, like, the whore.
It's so weird that he keeps calling his mom the crack whore, his bio mom.
The
I mean, I understand that he,
whore.
like, holds a lot of anger
Resentment?
towards
Yes.
her. But, geez, man. So Anna goes to work again. There are more emails. I'm way more interested in the brochures that Anna's making than the actual plot. Like, she's like, oh no, these brochures came back with errors. I have to send them back to the printers. And I was like, oh no, are the brochures going to be okay? And they were fine. I was like, relieved.
But, yeah.
I'll give you Krusty and Cross, says Christian.
Oh, to me
at
those
some
sound
point.
like trucker names.
Oh my god.
Wow, you skipped ahead a lot.
Like an old
Wait.
trucker and
Krusty and Cross. And a religious trucker and an old trucker. Who doesn't
I
bathe.
was going to say a grumpy trucker and an old trucker.
Krusty and Cross. Oh, I get it. That's better. Before that, Christian's lips twitch into a lascivious smile as he takes a bite of omelet. I go crimson and smirk. How is she still fucking blushing at this point? There's like an
really
annoying,
like
snappy
them.
dialogue. His eyes heat. I'm concerned. Maybe you should go to the doctor.
Okay, so Ethan shows up to get the keys for the apartment because he's moving in with Kate and Anna. But Kate is still in Barbados, so he's picking up the keys. So he comes pick up the keys, charms all the ladies in the office, and then leaves. Then there's some more emails, Krusty and Cross. Then Christian picks Anna up. It says, Krusty and Cross here. Well, this is sex mad and insatiable. I take it that you're outside. Anyways, he picks Anna up. They go to the apartment to see if Ethan has moved in all right. But it turns out, gasp, Layla is there and she has a gun.
Chad, you want to read the last one?
I step into the apartment and I don't know why, but I freeze instinctively as soon as I step inside. I take a moment to realize it's because the pale, wan figure standing by the kitchen island, holding a small revolver, is Layla, and she's gazing impassively at me.
Okay, let's talk about this. Chapter 13 opens with holy fuck. She's wearing that grubby trench coat. She looks desperately in need of a wash. That was like really British in the middle of like a tense scene.
Where is that?
It's the first page of okay, 309.
How did she get in?
Oh, maybe it's not in the book?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Oh, her hair is greasy and lank, plastered against her head, and her eyes are dull brown, cloudy and vaguely confused. Okay, she's still wearing that grubby trench coat, and she looks desperately in need of a shower. So they changed it. Very good.
Okay, so Layla and Anna have a standoff. It's kind of tense, but I'm not sure I buy this portrayal of a mentally unstable person.
I also don't.
She sort of chants, alone, alone, to herself.
Yeah.
Layla's clearly jealous that Christian likes Anna so much more.
Yeah, like, here we go.
I never slept in Master's bed.
She's like a fallen ethereal wraith, by the way.
Why does Master like us like this? It makes me think something. Master is dark. Master's a dark man, but I love him.
No, he's not. I bristle internally. He's not dark. He's a good man, and he's not in the dark. He's joined me in the light, and now she's here trying to drag him back with some warped idea that she loves him. Okay, so we have that, like, really overt and dumb light versus dark thing. We have Anastasia lying to herself and everyone about, like, how Christian is. Did he not just do this really weird email thing with you and, like, prevent you from going to Did you forget about it? Anyway.
So, yeah, like, I don't know about psychotic breaks or nervous breakdowns or whatever this is exactly.
I know about nervous breakdowns. Let me tell you about it. No.
Is this anything? Would you like? It's. I guess she seems like maybe, for lack of a better term, like San Francisco street person crazy.
Yeah, I see.
Because those were like there are lots of crazy homeless people. Sorry, I shouldn't say crazy. Mentally unstable homeless people in San Francisco because like they shut down all the.
It's like that here in Richmond too. Like they'll take people out of like mental institutions and prisons and just drop all on the side of the road, and we have a really big homeless population as a result. Yep.
So like I guess she sort of seems like that, but it seems like it's really played up and tiny bit offensive maybe.
Yeah, it's offensive, and I also think she's like, this is not like a good portrayal of anything. She doesn't seem to really be having that much of a break with reality. And also, it's more like she's obsessed with something and maybe slightly delusional. But I think if you're really delusional, you tend to be delusional about crazier things than that.
Maybe.
And like you would think the whole thing of her having a gun would mean that she's manic, which is not like, because that would be the danger. Because if she's just like, then she probably doesn't even know how. She's so probably zonked out that she wouldn't even know how to use that gun if she was having like a dissociative episode or something. I'm not a medical professional, by the way.
It seems strange that she would be fixated on something that's like from a few years ago.
Yeah.
Like she seems to have moved on with her life, and then
usually
her husband dies, and so she's going back to like her previous
like backsliding
boyfriend,
or whatever.
Which I don't know, maybe
this is just stereotypical melodrama. Like it's just E.L. James is like trying to find.
She didn't do enough research, basically.
No, it's not even that she didn't do enough research.
She has
just
no
like
personal experience.
She's just like stealing a trope out of other fiction. Like, and it's not like bad to do that, but she is just doing it in like the most. It's just the most shallow way. Like, it's just there's a crazy person that could.
Right. Well, her character
gun.
is kind of one-dimensional, at least at this point. Anyway, so like Christian comes in.
Yeah, Christian shows up and puts the Dom moves on Layla to subdue her. She's like, he just mouths the word to her, and she like immediately drops to her knees, and is rendered harmless. I'll be honest, I think this is actually maybe one of the hottest things in the book, sexually, just because like,
being her actually giving over,
like how eager she is to submit to him, and like how he just has to like not even say anything, like just like makes a motion, and she's like immediately.
I think this plays way more into like a power play fetish than anything we've ever seen in the other books, or in this book or the others, because like Anastasia's always like my knees hurt, and she's not actually like, oh, I love submitting. So like, but I want to read this line. Suddenly I feel I'm the interloper, intruding on them as they stand gazing at each other. I'm an outsider, voyeur, spying on a forbidden, intimate scene behind closed curtains. I thought that was actually a really interesting line. But maybe delivered a little too, like, maudlin-ish. I don't know.
Anna leaves, and with Ethan, who shows up, and she goes across the bar. They go across the street to a bar and get drunk, and Anna gets super jealous.
By the way, she says, it's true what they say about... Elena's words keep coming back to Tommy. It's true what they say about eavesdroppers. What do they say about eavesdroppers?
They're bad?
But what do they say? I mean, that's like a passage that implies that they say something. What do they say?
I'm sure it's probably like cheaters never prosper or something like that. That I
have no idea what she's referencing either.
Maybe somebody can write it and tell us.
Anna gets drunk and jealous. She goes home to Christian. She threatens to leave. She's like, I can't. Okay, so she's basically like, she sees that Layla is like a much better sub, even when she's totally broken from reality. And she's like, oh no, I can't be what you want, Christian. I should leave. And then Christian kneels in front of Anna. This is also sort of hot to me.
Okay.
But of course, Anna has no clue how to deal. You can't go, Anna. I love you.
I love you too, Christian. It's just...
No. No!
He says in desperation, and puts both hands on his head.
Christian?
No!
He breathes, his eyes wide with panic, and suddenly he drops to his knees in front of me, head bowed, long-fingered hands spread out on his thighs. He takes a deep breath and doesn't move. What?
Christian, what are you doing?
He continues to stare down, not looking at me.
Christian, what are you doing?
My voice is high-pitched. He doesn't move.
Christian, look at me.
I command in panic. His head sweeps up without hesitation, and he regards me passively with his cool gray eyes. He's almost serene, expectant. Holy fuck! Christian the submissive! Holy fuck is capitalized, both words. Holy fuck! And that's not changed in the book. Okay, so, Charity, I'm like, no, this is not I can see why that would be, like, you know, a sexy thing, but, like, how... Holy fuck, Christian the submissive. How can you make this situation more trite?
Well, I mean, okay, obviously that line is shitty.
Yeah, but like, the whole, like, don't leave me, I'll sub for you! Okay, I mean, I can see...
Maybe I'm, like, completely divorcing it from the context.
Maybe. I just mean...
I'm just enjoying the male submission part.
In the hands of an artiste, it would be good.
Sure.
Maybe. Especially
his reaction is completely baffling. Like, I don't understand why he thinks that this is gonna help anything. And he goes like, he's like, no! He's like doing some sort of weird, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
can we read I'm gonna skim over what he says. I told you to come back here, so he's all mad first. And then, I went for a drink or three with Ethan while you attended to your ex, I hiss.
Or you attended to your ex.
I hiss at him. I didn't know how long you were going to be with her. He narrows his eyes and takes a few paces towards me, but stops. Why do you say it like that? I shrug and stare down at my fingers. Anna, what's wrong? And for the first time I hear something other than anger in his voice. What? Fear? I swallow, trying to work out what I want to say. Where's Layla? I ask, looking up at him. Psychiatric hospital. Anna, what is it? What's wrong? I'm no good for you. What? He breathes, his eyes widening in alarm. Why do you think that? How can you possibly think that? I can't be everything you need. You are everything I need. Just seeing you with her, and she has a point, because, like Charity said, that was a fairly compelling scene. Why do you do this to me? This is not about you, Anna. It's about her. She's a very sick girl. But I felt it, what you had together. What? No! You're running! You can't! Yeah, then we just read the rest. But,
yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, it's completely childish, like, the way he's reacting.
Like, no! It's like panicking, but it's not really clear. I mean, why? I mean, you gave your fucking ex a bath and everything. To me, that would be like the calm after the storm. Like, you would think he would not do this next, like, really climactic thing of subbing. I mean, this is not really, like...
Well, I mean, he gave his sub a bath, but then his current girlfriend is threatening to leave. And, I mean, she did the same thing.
But wouldn't it be a better flow if he was like, I know you need your time, and then, like, they spend time apart while she processes it?
Well, yeah, sure, but, I mean, apparently, like, he thought he was gonna die the last time she left, so, like, now that he knows what's gonna happen if she leaves, he's, like, freaking out again.
Yeah, I see.
And, I mean, he acted, like, way more reasonable the last time she left, and now he's just, like, totally breaking down. It's just, it's weird. So that's the end of chapter 13, and so now chapter 14.
The vague alcoholic fuzziness. Okay, Christian on his knees at my feet. Is the most chilling and sobering sight I've ever seen, more so than Layla and her gun. How can that be? The vague alcoholic fuzziness I'm suffering from evaporates in an instant and is replaced by a prickling scalp and a creeping sense of doom as the blood drains from my face. I think I highlighted this because it was, like, really run-on sentence. It's hard to read.
Yeah, the thought of dominating Christian is nauseating. It would make me like her, the woman who did this to him. Here's the thing about abuse versus BDSM and shit, that they're different.
Yeah, they are different.
Like, not every person... Okay. So, there's an argument that BDSM is either abuse or appropriating abuse, by making abuse like a fun game to play for sexy time, or if someone has been abused and they are coping with it with BDSM, as often happens, then the dominant is actually taking advantage of the person via the damage that has been done by abuse, where the submissive thinks that they want to engage in BDSM, but they're actually just falling
replaying a
into
trauma.
a pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you clearly don't agree with this, and I don't either, by the way. What I would say, because, okay, anybody who critiques appropriating in a private sphere is being really strange. We all sort of have weird, at least I can speak for myself, we all have strange ideations about, like, what is sexual and what is not. So you cannot take this moral high ground and insist, like, you cannot appropriate abuse for your fun. Like, it's not abuse, first of all. Like, that should be, resoundingly clear. Because if somebody is consenting, and there's things like aftercare, there's, like, a helpful graphic on Tumblr, I think we've talked about it on the podcast before. The difference between abuse is not consensual. There's no sort of, like...
There's like a cycle of abuse in BDSM. Abuse is, like... Abuse, guilt, apology, like giving gifts and being kind, and then abuse again.
Yeah.
BDSM is like discussion, consent, BDSM, aftercare.
I'm not going to say what sort of secondhand or firsthand experience, because I wouldn't want to, like, out the people involved, but, like, I've been very close to a situation in which there was BDSM and it was abuse. But the difference is that there was no sort of, like, consent involved. So, like, and it would take that cycle too, like, the aggressor would sort of, like, inflict BDSM on the would-be sub when they were not ready and they were not, like, consenting to it. And then, you know, like, oh god, like, everything would be really fucked up for a while. It'd be, like, 2 weeks, and then, like, you know, the dom would come back and be like, I'm sorry. And, like, be nice. And then it would happen all over again. Like, and it didn't, and, like, you know, there are all these promises, like, oh yes, I'll go to therapy, I will make us not a contract, but, like, you know, or, like, I'll give you a safe word. And just, it never happened. And it's sad, it was a sad situation. But, like, okay, that's a clear-cut case where if you had never experienced anything but that kind of BDSM, then yes, you may very well be inclined to think, wow, BDSM is abuse, I'm not doing this, like, and nobody else should do it. But the thing is, and I'm sure you know this, Cherry Doom, like, that is not the way that it's supposed to be when done correctly.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and as far as the, like, I'm not sure about this because I've never suffered abuse, like that, but, like, as far as, like, falling into a pattern, if the submissive who has been abused wants to engage in BDSM, and they're not being hurt in a way that
is physically abusive.
If in a way that they don't want to be hurt, like should someone who has been abused never engage in BDSM?
No, I don't think so. But I think that limits are really important in knowing your limits. And if you're not mature, if you're not sort of, like, come to terms with your abuse enough to know your limits, then you should not do it. The person needs to have a context there of, like, this is okay, this is not. As long as there's a line that can be drawn clearly so that everybody can adhere to it, that's fine. But if it's like, I sort of don't know where my line is, we should just do it, like, that's the worst idea ever. And yes, that will sort of lead to sort of, like, an abusive situation. And without apportioning blame, I mean, maybe that's sort of, like, the dom's prerogative to say, like, hey, like, you need to tell me what your limits are.
Yeah. As far as you should just do it, I mean, that can be fine as long as you know, like, say, if you have a safe word, you can say stop, yes, have a safe word, and, like, talk about it afterward and say, okay, this is definitely a limit, don't ever do that again. Something like that. That's fine. That's part of, like, the BDSM cycle of discussion and aftercare and whatnot.
Yeah. See, like, in that cycle you can't even really call it a cycle. It's more like a, I'm trying to...
Procedure?
Yeah, like the procedure, exactly. Thank you.
An SOP.
Yeah, SOP.
Anyways. So, yeah, like, Anna is obviously, like, complaining, oh, I can't dominate Christian because he's a boy and I'm a girl, and that would make this exactly like when he was abused. I guess I can I could see how people would think that, maybe. Can we
slap a trigger warning in here right now? You can sort of equate that to the whole, like, well, like, my girlfriend was raped, and then she wants to do a rape fantasy. What the hell is up with that? Like, I don't want to be a rapist. Like, it's not really the same because it's a controlled situation. And then also,
exactly,
you're not a pedophile.
I mean, yeah, though I can see how, like,
I mean, it might take some time to wrap your head around.
Because the abuse was in a BDSM context,
Yes.
it might be sort of hard for her to figure it out. Anyway.
Anyway.
I think Anna's wrong, but we can discuss.
I think she's
and we
the
just
wrongest.
Did, so. But I can see how having no experience with BDSM before, it's fine
Yeah, I can see that.
for her to think that. But they can't like discuss what's going on here. Really, they're just like so confused and like, why are you doing this? Stop kneeling! It's freaking me out.
Yeah, like a moment of
Anna
high stress. That's not okay for this all to happen.
Yeah. Anna cries. She says she can't handle all this shit. I can't figure out what the hell Christian's aim is here. He's expecting Anna to dom him, but he won't tell her that because he's just like staring at her. He's like, hey, you should. He's not saying like, hey, you should dom me. That would be fun, or that would like help me out right now, or something. He's just like looking at her, staring at her, like this isn't gonna help. She's never done anything like this before, Christian.
Yeah.
You're being weird and
Really
dumb,
bad.
but also maybe I don't know. Maybe it's some sort of weird PTSD thing. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I think, like, E.L. James's aim here is to frame Christian as someone who can't think of human relations and, like, relationships, like, of this
Without
sort.
BDSM.
Yeah, without, like, this sort
That
of
makes
power
sense.
play or BDSM.
So, like, Anastasia's teaching him
Yeah, rather...
how to love.
Yeah, so, like, rather than, you know, like, because last time he was like, okay, you're leaving, and then, like, it really, he's like, oh, no, I can't handle it. So now he's just like, I can't handle it. So he's just like falling back on what he knows or whatever,
Yeah.
as opposed to trying to be like, no, don't leave me or something like that.
I'm actually really creeped out by this, so maybe we should talk
It's
about
pretty
it.
creepy.
I feel like...
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I think I might know what you're going to say, and I want to say it too.
Say it.
So go ahead.
Well, actually, no, this was actually about that situation I was alluding to earlier that I was witnessing. There did seem to be that kind of thing where the abuser could not relate to human relationships unless they were in the context of BDSM. And not only human relationships, but like men-women relationships. The abuser, by the way, was a man.
Okay. That's not what I was going to say.
Well, say your thing now.
All right. What I was going to say is, this is pretty manipulative of Christian.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
There's some posts on Tumblr about, I'm trying to think of the type of personality disorder, maybe histrionic or maybe borderline personality disorder, where like people will threaten to kill themselves if someone leaves,
Mm-hmm.
or do other like crazy. Sorry, stop
Okay,
saying crazy.
do other maybe like rash things,
or
yeah.
dramatic things to like get people to not leave them, and that is also a form of abuse because you are making
Emotional abuse.
Emotional abuse. Yeah, you're making the other person think, oh shit, I can't leave this person or they'll fucking die.
Yeah.
So I'm trapped.
I think
basically.
I couldn't say for sure, but I think that is maybe a hallmark of like borderline personality disorder.
And I think, like,
Yeah.
I mean, and stuff like this, I think we've talked about it before, but it really frames Christian as just, like, totally untrustworthy. Like, anytime he does anything, is it just a manipulation? Like, any time he gives in to Anastasia's demands, like, is it really because, no one ever challenges him, or is it just because he's manipulating her?
Yeah, and this is also a side note. Like, there's a lot of posts on Tumblr about this sort of thing about, like, you can't blame a person with this disorder, like, if someone...
Right, because they have a problem.
like,
or not a problem, but
right.
they can't.
And, like, they can't help it, so, like, you shouldn't blame them for it, or, like, you shouldn't leave them because they can't help it, or something like that.
Well,
which is really harmful, I feel. Like, a person should be able to do whatever they want if
of
they're
course,
not
yeah.
comfortable with
If
the
you
situation.
can't, if having that person in your life is making you uncomfortable, then like you need to leave. Like,
I mean, yeah, I think, like...
even if they have a problem, you are not the custodian of that problem. A therapist is.
Yeah.
The thing is, yeah, like, what you should do in that situation is not enable them. You should try to get them
exactly.
help.
But sometimes the
Again,
situation
like,
is really
We're not
severe.
mental health professionals.
Yes, but you're not. Please talk to your therapist instead if you're having problems like this with someone in your life or yourself.
But it is bad to enable, one, something that can be considered abuse, and two, something that is potentially life-threatening, like harm to either person. That's not good for either party.
What Christian's doing is not that severe, but I'm not sure what he is doing.
Yeah.
But it feels manipulative to me, like he's... whatever he's doing.
Like,
Yeah.
it is a type of power play. Like,
Well,
he's giving up his power, like, as a means of, like, amelioration. Like, he's trying to he's trying to smooth things over by totally giving in, which is, rather than like
talking
it out, he's just swinging to the opposite end of the spectrum.
I have a note here I'd like to read to you all. So this is kind of forcing her to talk to and like acquiesce. So she's like, I love you. It was painful to see you like that. I realize as I say these words to him in the hope that he's listening what my real problem is. I just don't get why he likes me. I've never understood that. And my thought here is she's a weak-willed victim who's easy to prey on. That is why they're together. That's why he's doing this to her right now.
Yeah, kind of.
And then he kind of, it's not an act, but he sort of drops his thing after she kneels down and she's like totally acquiescing in here and paying attention. Right. She's not going to leave. She loves you. And he's like, oh, thank goodness. I don't know why I thought this was funny. Oh, thank the Lord. Inside, my subconscious staggers back into her armchair, sagging with relief and takes a large swig of gin. I don't know why I thought that was so funny that I had to highlight it, but it is.
Phew. Christian's driving her subconscious to drink.
He shakes his head, revealing his agony. He shakes his head, revealing his agony. He shakes his head. There's no comma. And then she gave me a clue. She looked so contrite, and I just knew what I had to do. It's some weird rhyming again. Sometimes times in my life when I have sort of like, I wouldn't say when I'm having anxiety attacks, but if I'm having like a period of high anxiety, I get these like weird rhyming repetitious phrases in my head, and this is exactly what it reminds me of. Like, gave me a clue, knew what I had to do, gave me a clue, knew what I had to do, and just like really over-focusing on it. It's weird. We've talked about it before in the podcast.
Anna touches Christian's chest. Christian cries.
In the forbidden zone.
He reveals that he likes to beat up short brunettes because they remind him of his mother, which is pretty fucked up.
I'm glad he doesn't exist in real life, because what if he beat me up?
No.
I'm a small brunette! Get me away!
Just, like...
Am I the ultimate Christian victim?
If he existed in real life, he sounds like the sort of person that would just, like, traffic and that
that's creepy. Like human slavery, human sex slave. Oh, I have some other lines I'd like to read. I just wanted you gone, he murmurs with his uncanny ability to read my thoughts. I wanted you away from the danger, and you just wouldn't go, he hisses through clenched teeth. Anyway, she touches his forbidden zone, and she gasps, oh my 50! He's letting me touch him. That sounds like, oh my god, but oh my 50!
That sounds like...
Well, he is master of the universe.
He's master of her universe.
That sounds like batting, like really bad, like, translation English. Oh my 50!
Oh my 50! Anyway, so he's like, do it again. I said that this was shitty. He gasps and I kiss another and another of his scars. He groans loudly and suddenly his arms are around me and his hand is in my hair, pulling my head up painfully so that my lips meet his insistent mouth, and we're kissing, my fingers nodding into his... Did you fucking say that? Oh, Anna, he breathes, and he twists, and he pulls me down onto the floor! Bam! I'm a sadist, Anna. I like to whip little brown-haired girls like you, because you all look like the crack whore, my birth mother. I'm sure you can guess why! He looks briefly down at his manicured fingernails.
You said you weren't a sadist, I whisper. No, I said I was a dominant. If I lied to you, it was a lie of omission. I'm sorry. I feel like this is retconning.
Yeah, I think so
on Neil
too.
James's part.
Yeah.
When you asked me that question, I envisioned a very different relationship between us, he murmurs. So it's true, I whisper. I can't give you what you need. No, Anna, no. You can. You do give me what I need. Please believe me. I don't know what to believe, Christian. This is so fucked up. And fucked up is... has a dash between fucked and up. This is so fucked up. I whisper, Anna, believe me. After I punished you and you left me, my worldview changed. I wasn't joking when I said I would avoid ever feeling like that again. When you said you loved me, it was a revelation. Hey, there's that revelation again.
Revelation.
No one's ever said it to me before. And... What? No one ever said they loved you? But Layla said she loved him. But I mean, maybe she said that to Anna. Maybe she's never said it to him. Anyway, no one's ever said. What about his fucking mom? Did Grace never say that? Okay. Anyway, no one's ever said it to me before, and it was as if I'd laid something to rest, or maybe you'd laid it to rest. I don't know. Dr. Flynn and I are still in deep discussion about it. So what does all that mean? It means I don't need it anymore. Not now. How can you be so sure? I don't know. The thought of me hurting you in a real way, it's abhorrent to me. I don't understand. What about rules and spanking and all that kinky fuckery? I'm talking about the heavy shit, Anastasia. You should see what I can do with a cane or a cat. Jesus. All right. So he doesn't want to hurt Anna, and so that cured him of wanting to be a sadist.
Suddenly I care about someone. I shouldn't do this. But, like, that's, again, like, he's admitting that what he does isn't necessarily BDSM.
Yeah.
And also that, like, it's also still... so what you were saying earlier about E.L. James is basically, like, revisionism about the sadist thing. Like, I think in a meta sense, that's definitely what's happening, but in a stricter, like, in-universe sense, it could also just be another lie. Like, Christian just lying. Like, oh, no, I never said that. Like, you're remembering wrong. Like, it's just sort of a little bit of gaslighting or something.
Yeah, I think so, too. Okay, I think that there are some compulsions that people have that they don't just disappear like that. Like, and it's the kind of thing, too, if you have, like, any sort of self-loathing toward your compulsion, like, you hate that you do it. Like, I hate to like be so open about my issues, but like I have one in particular compulsion that I really fucking hate, and like I can't break myself of it. It would probably take like years of therapy or something, but it doesn't harm anyone. It doesn't really harm me, so I don't really try to work it out. But the point is, it is sort of something like being a sadist, and like you can't just cure yourself. Like eventually you go back to it in a time of stress or randomly it happens, and you can't just boil down and say like, I'm not a sadist anymore because Anastasia's here. Like, that's not how it works.
I mean, that is how it works in the world of fanfiction. Sex cures everything.
Okay, well, I was mistaken.
Fuck.
Master is dark! That's it. All the times he's...
Well, that's from the
No,
last
it's not.
chapter,
All the times he's alluded to me leaving once I knew his darkest secrets flashed through my mind, and now I know. Shit. Master is dark.
Master is dark.
Master is dark.
Oh, the Master is dark this evening. Anyways,
Will Master be dark this evening?
Anyway, go on with what you were going to say.
Don't leave me.
He whispers.
Oh, for crying out loud! No! I am not going to go!
I shout, and it's cathartic. There, I've said it. I am not leaving.
Really?
His eyes widen.
What can I do to make you understand I will not run? What can I say?
He gazes at me, revealing his fear and anguish again. He swallows.
There's one thing you can do.
What?
I snap.
Marry me.
He whispers. What? Did he really just... For the second time in less than half an hour, my world stops.
Everybody on the Earth goes flinging off due to centrifugal force.
Holy fuck.
And inertia.
Holy fuck.
I think that's enough.
That's all you
Okay.
want. Okay.
Holy fuck.
Marriage? He's proposing marriage? Is he kidding?
So this is pretty much the worst time to propose marriage, I think. I mean, as far as like them knowing each other for maybe a month, and also this being a period of extremely high stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You cannot prepare yourself for the emotional whiplash that is about to happen at the end of this chapter, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, so, like, I don't know. I mean, this seems very desperate to me.
Agreed.
Christian. Yeah.
Like, it's
just a shitty thing so he can control her.
He's like,
exactly.
He's like,
I mean, that's how he uses it in the third book, basically.
Yeah.
He's always talking about how she's his wife. Anna stalls and says she has to think about it, which is probably good. And then they argue about food some more. They're right back to that after all that.
He looks so young all of a sudden. Who would have thought? Christian Grey likes nursery food. I thought that was weird. I don't know if it's the same in
I don't think it's
book.
the same. He likes macaroni and cheese is the weird thing that he likes.
Yeah, is the thing. But what is it? Macaroni and cheese? He looks so young. No, it's the same in the book. Who would have thought? Christian Grey likes nursery food. 335. Right.
That is kind of strange.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know if we really would call macaroni and cheese nursery food. More like comfort food.
Yeah, definitely. At the end of this chapter, after all of that breakthrough and whatnot, Christian, Anna asks about what happened to Layla, what happened after she left. She's like, I gave her a bath, And I took her to the hospital or something. Let's find it. You had it, right?
I did. So what did you do with Layla in the apartment? You really want to know? Yes. We talked and I gave her a bath. His voice is hoarse and he continues quickly when I make no response. And I dressed her in some of your clothes. I hope you don't mind, but she was filthy. Holy fuck! He bathed her? What an inappropriate thing to do. I'm reeling, staring down my uneaten macaroni. Try to rationalize this, my subconscious coaches. Suddenly I want to cry. It was all I could do, Anna, he says softly. You still have feelings for her? No, he says appalled and closes his eyes. Expression of anguish. I stare once more at my sickening food. I'm paraphrasing here. To see her like that, so different, so broken. I care about her, one human being to another. Is he expecting my sympathy? Anna, look at me! I'm like an overflowing tank of gasoline with my tears. She has a big outburst. I whirl around and face him. Just stop, Christian! Just stop with the Anna, please! I shout at him, and my tears start to trickle down my face. I've had enough of all this shit today. I'm going to bed. I'm tired and emotional. Now let me be! I turn on my heel and practically run to the bedroom, taking with me the memory of his wide-eyed, shocked stare. Nice to know I can shock him, too. I strip out of my clothes in double quick time, and after rifling through his chest of drawers, drag on one of his t-shirts and head for the bathroom. I gaze at myself in the mirror, hardly recognizing...
I'll equally put on a t-shirt.
I'm gonna put on one of his t-shirts! I hate him so fucking much. I gaze at myself in the mirror, hardly recognizing the gaunt, pink-eyed, blotchy-cheeked Harridan staring back at me. And it's too much. I sink to the floor and surrender to the overwhelming emotion I can no longer contain. Sobbing, huge, chest-wrenching sobs! Finally letting my tears flow unrestrained! Like, and that's the end of our chapter chunk, too.
Yeah.
Like, whoa. Let's go through that. You found the sub. She gets kind of crunk with Ethan. Christian subs for her because she said she's going to leave. They touch him, which he wasn't letting her do. You've cured me of being a sadist. Marry me. Let's have some macaroni. I gave the sub a bath, and now you're screaming and you run away, and it ends on such a bad note. Like, whoa. Calm down.
I mean, everything is fine suddenly, so now they have to up the drama again.
This book needs like a fucking benzo.
A day.
Not a goddamn moment of peace.
A day in the life of Anastasia Steele. Like, literally a day.
Yeah, just one day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I did say that Christian says he gave Layla a bath. I also thought that was kind of hot, even though I know she's crazy, but it's like it's very good aftercare.
Yeah,
sort
I
of,
see.
And it's comforting sort of thing. It reminds me of the end of Secretary, the movie with James Spader and Maggie Gyllenhaal, where, like, she's been, sitting, at his desk with her hands on the desk for 3 days in her bridal dress, and then she's exhausted and she's peed herself, so that part of the movie's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
But in the end, he, like, gives her a bath, and it's really sweet, and, yeah.
I would like to ask you something. So, there have been maybe 2 to 3 things in this chunk that you thought was good. Yes?
Not was good.
Or not good, but, like, let's say they are good examples when taken by themselves of maybe, like, cool power play.
Yeah, okay.
So, but, I mean, not to say that you think that this book is good, but, like, do we think that do you think, because I would say of the 3 of us, you're probably the more interested in it, would you say that that E.L. James is improving with these things, or would you say that her inability to kind of link it to the main characters?
I think these are entirely accidental.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think that, yeah.
I tend to think you're right.
I think that I am looking for anything to enjoy in this book. And I think that just these tiny, tiny snatches of things that I find interesting in other contexts are, like, resonating with me and saying, okay, this part is sort of cool, but it's not. It's bad. It's still bad. Like, because it's entrenched in, like, this weird representation of mental illness with both Layla and Christian. So yeah, in context, it's still fucked up and bad, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny because I think those moments that you like and that anybody who's into that kind of thing would like,
You have to dig through everything else to get there.
Yeah, well, when
Yeah.
you have to dig through everything else together, too, I believe they're actually trying to be portrayed as things that are not positive.
Yeah, that's also true.
Like, which is
Like,
reinforcing, like,
all of
this
these
is
things are
fucked up.
bad things.
This is fucked up.
Yeah.
Look at how fucked up this is right here. Like, it's not like, but, you know, and like, legitimately, that's a sub who wants to be subbing, that's a dom who wants to be doming, unlike the creepy, awful, abusive shit that they've been sort of playing with each other with, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing. I can't believe I didn't put this in my... I thought I could have sworn I put this in my notes, but anyway, okay. So Christian says that Layla is lively and mischievous. And I couldn't figure out why, if she's lively and mischievous, and Anna could possibly, in some definitions, be considered lively and mischievous, she looks like Anna. Why is Anna so special? Sounds like Layla was exactly
Specialer.
the same.
No, the same.
I mean, maybe specialer. She's a better sub. Like, I can't figure out why. Is it like? Does he? I can't remember him explaining like why he likes her so much. She seems like
He doesn't.
maybe
It seems like he likes her because she's, like, defiant.
Yeah.
and cured him of sadism by saying she didn't want to be beaten. But like, I would say lively and mischievous sounds to me like she's a bit of a bratty sub too.
Yeah, maybe he
which
was
is
secretly...
a defiant sub.
Yeah, maybe he was
basically.
secretly into bratty sub and he didn't know it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But it sounds like Layla was too, but maybe that he meant
She doesn't
mischievous in
seem-
some other way.
Yeah, maybe Mr.
I mean, she did put toxic on his iPod. Maybe
I
that's
don't
why
think
he
it
broke
was-
up with her.
I mean, I don't think it would necessarily express itself in the BDSM context. I
Yeah,
mean,
just like as a person,
like
maybe.
in the everyday life
Yeah,
context.
maybe. All right, well.
Well, anyways, so...
Later.
Later,
Later.
baby.